We grow up believing ambition is a straight track. We push forward, expecting a massive, singular destination waiting at the end. Then we hit that first major milestone, and instead of relief, we feel lost. Psychologists call this the arrival fallacy, the jarring emptiness that hits high achievers the moment they get exactly what they wanted. Our entire culture models success as a checklist. You graduate, get the promotion, buy the house, check the box. The psychological cliff waiting on the other side of that final checkmark leaves you with no momentum. To survive this drop, we have to rethink how we construct our goals in the first place. We need to look at life through a framework we call the architect of ambition. An architect oversees a living project. True personal growth involves using every major achievement as a designated site to dismantle old scaffolding and redesign your identity for the next phase. Treating ambition as a fixed target guarantees eventual burnout. To keep going, we have to stop trying to cross a finish line and start focusing on the ongoing process of building. Every architectural project begins with a surge of energy. In human development, this first phase is raw ambition. At this stage, your psychological fuel comes from the outside. You seek a title, achieve social status, or prove a doubter wrong. This chart shows how that motivation plays out. It provides a massive, immediate burst of power. But as you can see from this erratic energy output, it lacks cohesive long-term direction. You move fast, yet go nowhere specific. Relying on applause or spite is dangerous. That external fuel depletes rapidly, leaving your psychological framework brittle. The moment you face a real shock to the system, the entire structure is at risk of collapsing. External validation works well as a starter motor to get you moving. However, it is biologically and psychologically incapable of sustaining a lifelong career. Inevitably, the starter motor gives out. You encounter a major setback, a highly visible failure, or a period of severe burnout. The immediate reaction to this is sheer panic. When the career you mapped out stalls, the natural instinct is to assume your entire life blueprint is flawed. This crash is a feature of the process. It acts as a mandatory stress test, exposing the weaknesses of those early, validation-seeking goals. Surviving this phase requires a hard pivot. You must focus on reinforcing deep internal competence. Watch the model. As the brittle outer shell of your ego shatters under pressure, it forces you to rely on solid, undeniable skills. Once that inner core is exposed, it expands, forming a flexible new framework to deflect pressure. This precise moment of intense friction marks the actual beginning of true personal growth. Structural friction provides the pressure needed to upgrade our definition of success. This friction grounds our confidence in the reality of being capable. Eventually, you enter the third phase, mastery. Here, the frantic scramble fades, and your daily work is no longer driven by a struggle for survival or cultural relevance. The guiding question of your life matures. You evaluate your output based on the systems you are building for the future. This shift unlocks what psychologists consider an infinitely renewable psychological resource, sustainable ambition. Look at how this closed-loop system operates. The architecture of your drive matures from extracting resources for yourself into building systems and teaching others. The output feeds directly back into the foundation, keeping the cycle alive. Psychological mastery occurs when the daily effort itself becomes the reward. You decouple your ambition from the need to hit external milestones, making you resilient to burnout. The linear checklist traps us into believing success is finite. The reality is that true ambition requires continuously designing your own growth. Under this framework, a milestone takes on an entirely different meaning. Whether you experience a massive windfall or a devastating setback, neither is a finish line. They are simply progress markers, signaling that it is time to sit down and draft a new set of blueprints. Look at the current obstacle or achievement in your own life. Objectively evaluate it. That exact milestone provides the specific raw material you need to construct your next phase. A truly ambitious life is never finished. It is an iterative structure designed, torn down, and rebuilt forever.